Okay, so this is going to be our video of how to start a new row once you've finished one. So I currently have 2 more stitches left on this row. You really have to be aware of where your stitches are, because when I came to this, it kind of looked like this, and I could have easily mistaken this as not being a stitch, but it is. So please be very careful, know what's going on. Also, if for whatever reason it's not like even right here on that edge, you're gonna know that you're missing a stitch. So be very careful. When starting a new row, it's super important that you know what's going on and you do this right, because you want this entire mat to be a rectangle all the way through. If we lose stitches, it's going to end up going on a slant, and that's not the biggest deal if that happens, but if it keeps happening, the mat could really become dysfunctional, and then all the work that everyone put in could go to waste. So not that it's all this much pressure, it's really not that bad. So I'm going to do 2 typical stitches like you normally would. Obviously the yarn right here is a little thick, but it's okay. I'm gonna do normal last stitch right here. So now there's nowhere else to loop, right? So you would think you would just go right back in, but no, you have to add an extra stitch before you start that row. So what I do personally, not entirely sure if this is the most correct way, but I had the mat facing this way. I just flip it this way, and I make sure the yarn is technically coming out in front over here. I just move it to the back, pull it out a little. What we're gonna do is, there's nowhere to stick your hook in, but you're gonna do a loop around. Sorry, give me one sec. And you're gonna pull this through. So now you have this extra loop like on top of everything. And then you're going to find where this last loop was. So I have my loop over here. This is a stitch that I just made, and this is the one that lines up perfectly with the edge of the mat. You have to really pay attention to where your first stitch is, because again, I could easily miss that one. I could somehow go in weird with all this stuff, but make sure you know this is where your loop is, so, or your stitch. So you're going to put your hook in, do a normal one like that. I'll show you just a few more stitches so you can see what it looks like once you have started this new row. Do one more. Okay, so as you can see, you're nice and even on this side. Obviously the way it stretches, it might bend a little, and this looks a little funky, but as long as you can tell that this is where your new stitch is right there, you're all set. So ignore this little thing, something clearly went wrong with that yarn. But yeah, that's it. Just make sure you add on that one extra stitch before you go back onto that row, so it gives it that one extra stitch upward. If you don't do that, you're going to miss stitches, and it'll be kind of on a weird slant, but that's literally it.